Hello, I'm Chef Lemont, and over the next few weeks I'm going to be shooting a series of YouTube videos. Hopefully it's going to teach you a lot about doing some great cooking and some flavorful cooking. This videos would be cooking with roots. Roots is going to be one of the featured items in each one of the dishes we do, and hopefully you'll get to enjoy some good tasting Southern cuisine and understanding what the roots of what we're doing is going to be doing for us. Looking at trying to get some things going on with this summer culinary food products. We're going to start out with some fresh stuff coming out of our gardens, and the best thing to do is get all of your fresh ingredients growing and pulling it out from yourself so you can get all your better flavors. The flavor's going to always be better the fresher you can get. So I suggest that you start growing some things. We started out right here. We got some green beans and some peppers. Green beans and peppers usually grow good together, and they help each other to grow, keeping some of the bugs off of it. We also turn around with our herbs and spices, and we got to know which herbs go with which vegetables. What vegetables help each other. We got tomato plants on the back side over here, but we know that basil and dill help the vegetables to grow, but they along with that help keep all these bugs and stuff off of them. So we'll get all the stuff that's growing naturally. We don't have to put no herbs, pesticides on food. It's going to help us with our flavors on our food. We love to keep things to growing together, like green beans and squash growing close together, so that it help give some ground cover. Or we got things over here like our okra growing alongside of our eggplant. It's going to help things to get a little bit better to grow with and to help pollinate. We want to keep all our melons separated. We got some honeydew melon over here growing, and we also have some watermelons growing about 10-12 feet away. So we keep these watermelons, and you see they growing up, and get some good little vegetables going along with those, helping to keep the bugs and stuff off of them. We also introduced our plants. We use these little yellow marigolds. That's going to help that watermelon to pollinate without getting a lot of bugs eating up our vine before it get to start growing real good. Marigolds is good for all of your plants that help grow. So you see some marigolds growing in all of our little buckets over here that we got, so that we don't get things that we have to end up using pesticides on. Corn, on the other hand, corn is a little bit special. So we're going to grow some corn, and we just put some out, and we got it growing naturally in these tires. But if we get our corn to growing, corn is so hard to pollinate, we're going to end up taking and getting some of the pollen off of the corn flour to add to the corn husk, the silk of the corn, to help pollinate it and get us some good harvest to come off of it. So we may be able to get a good crop of corn out of it, but we got to see how that's going to work with doing some things. You see stuff like onion and lettuce. All we did was took and cut the bottoms off of the lettuce, let it start to germinate a little bit, and then we could plant it, and they'll start growing and repopulating itself. I'm also growing some purple potatoes over here. And these purple potatoes, they're going to take a little bit more time, so we got them planted pretty deep. So all of this along here is going to be some purple potatoes. It's going to be a sweet purple potato. That potato is something that I know if you're used to eating a purple potato, but it's got a little sweet taste to it, and it also makes a beautiful dish. So we get some of those going, and we're going to make some dishes with that. So this is what we're going to always look at, trying to get some sort of roots going, because this is roots right here in Chattanooga with Chef Lemont. All right, I'm growing a lot of herbs. We like growing herbs with our vegetables. They help our vegetables grow, like we was talking about with the tomatoes and basil, your bell peppers and peppers growing alongside with your greens and things like that. Helps all that stuff to grow and helps keep bugs and other insects from eating up your harvest. But at some point, you just want to keep some herbs growing by themselves. So that's what we got up here on the front of our garden is a herb garden, which we still end up planting a few tomatoes out to help with some growth for that and keeping this fertilized. And we got some turnip greens growing along the front of it just to help shade out some of my garlic. So garlic and onions down here, some of our other roots, we got them growing close to our collard greens so that they'll help shade it a little bit but still allow enough sunlight and moisture for them to grow on up. So we got a few of them that started coming up along with our collard greens there. We're still using our marigolds. Marigolds going to help deter the bugs from getting out to our vegetables. I also like using dill growing close to our tomatoes, and we have a little bit of lettuce growing here that the seeds hadn't germinated yet. On this side over here, a watermelon and a few more herbs and spices. We got some thyme and some oregano growing down in here, and those things help with helping each other, especially around these tomatoes. So we're hoping to get a good tomato product growing up. This one here is going to be a small squash. It's a little round squash. So those little round squash are going to help us with keeping some ground cover so that we don't burn up our herbs. Over here we have a mixture of bell pepper growing. We got some strawberry mint. We also have some basil, and we got some hot peppers growing. So these hot peppers growing as close to these bell peppers going to give this bell pepper a little bit of heat, but it will let those bell peppers grow out and be a little bit bigger and firmer than just growing them by themselves. If you're going to just have bell pepper that you don't want that hot to it, then you definitely want to grow them away from other hot peppers. But I purposely put these together because I want a good flavor coming from a bell pepper. We're going to do some hot chow and pickled things going on with our peppers and cabbage.